The music industry woke up to absolute chaos after a rumor exploded across social media claiming that what started as a petty rap feud between Drake and Rick Ross suddenly spiraled into something far darker. Something that insiders are calling the most dangerous moment hip-hop has seen in years. And if the leaked messages circulating online are even half true, then what happened behind the scenes may completely change how fans see both artists forever. It all started with a single moment that fans thought was just another joke in a long history of rap beef. Rick Ross, known for his larger-than-life personality and fearless attitude, reportedly mocked Drake during a private industry event. According to several insiders who claim they were in the room that night, Ross didn't just make a harmless joke. He allegedly went too far. Way too far. Yet witnesses say the room immediately went silent when Ross laughed and made a comment about Drake that people are still debating online. Some say it was about Drake's reputation in the industry. Others claim Ross hinted at something deeply personal that Drake has spent years trying to keep out of the spotlight. But whatever was said, one thing became instantly clear to everyone watching. Drake did not take it lightly. Sources claim Drake's face changed instantly. The smile disappeared, the laughter stopped. And suddenly the energy in the room shifted from playful to extremely uncomfortable. One producer who allegedly witnessed the moment later posted a cryptic message online saying, "I've never seen Drake look that angry before. Ross woke up a monster tonight." At first, fans thought the tension would stay where most rap drama lives, on social media, through diss tracks, subtle lyrics, and messy interviews. But within hours, things reportedly escalated in ways nobody expected. Late that same night, several anonymous posts began appearing online claiming that Drake had sent furious messages to people close to Ross. The messages were aggressive, emotional, and according to one insider, borderline threatening. But what happened next is where the story takes a shocking turn. Because according to multiple rumors now spreading like wildfire across the internet, what Drake allegedly planned after being mocked by Rick Ross may have crossed a line that even the wildest rap beefs have never crossed before. And if the leaked footage that fans are desperately trying to verify is real, then the situation between Drake and Rick Ross might not just be rap drama anymore. It might be something far more dangerous. And the moment fans saw what happened next, the entire internet exploded. To understand why this situation exploded so violently, you have to understand one thing about the relationship between Drake and Rick Ross. This wasn't just another random rap rivalry. For years, these two men moved through the music industry like powerful allies. Two giants whose collaborations once dominated charts, clubs, and streaming platforms around the world. Fans used to celebrate their chemistry. Their songs together felt effortless, like two bosses running the same empire. But behind the flashy music videos and luxury lifestyle lyrics, insiders claim the relationship between Drake and Rick Ross had been quietly cracking for years. And the tension had been building slowly, quietly, until it finally exploded. If you rewind back several years, Drake and Rick Ross looked almost unstoppable together. Songs like their famous collaborations turned into instant fan favorites, with Ross delivering his signature booming voice while Drake slid across the beat with his emotional but confident style. Their energy worked perfectly. Fans believed they respected each other deeply. But according to people who worked behind the scenes in the industry, the power balance between the two artists always felt a little delicate. Drake was becoming the biggest star in the world, dominating streaming charts, breaking records, and expanding his influence beyond music into fashion, business, also and culture. Meanwhile, Rick Ross still commanded enormous respect, but his position in the industry had shifted from rising superstar to veteran boss. That shift may seem small to casual fans, but inside the music industry, status means everything. Several insiders now claim that Ross began making subtle comments about Drake long before this latest explosion happened. Nothing dramatic at first, just small jokes during interviews, playful digs during live performances, and comments that some fans brushed off as harmless banter. But the internet never forgets. Old clips have now resurfaced, showing Ross laughing during one interview when a host asked about Drake's emotional music style. Ross reportedly smirked and said something along the lines of, "Much Drake be singing about feelings too much. Sometimes you gotta move like a boss." At the time, fans laughed. The moment went viral as a meme. But looking back now, some people believe that moment might have been one of the earliest signs that something deeper was brewing. And then there were the business rumors. Around 2 years ago, whispers started circulating that Drake and Ross were competing for influence behind the scenes in the music industry. Both artists had powerful connections with record labels, promoters, and artists trying to break into the scene. According to one anonymous producer who claims to have worked with both camps, the competition between their teams started getting intense. People don't realize how political this industry is. The producer wrote in a now-deleted forum post, "Every artist wants power, and when two bosses start stepping on the same territory, things get messy." Some insiders even claim there was a moment during a major music festival planning meeting where representatives from Drake's team and Ross's camp clashed over who would headline the event. The situation reportedly became so tense that organizers had to separate the teams during negotiations. Again, none of this reached the public in a dramatic way. To the outside world, Drake and Ross still appeared friendly. They still occasionally showed respect to each other during interviews. Fans assumed the partnership was intact. But behind the curtain, people say the tension kept growing. Then came the social media era of hip-hop drama. Over the past few years, rap beefs have transformed into digital warfare. Artists no longer just settle things through diss tracks. They send cryptic tweets, post suspicious photos, drop subtle insults and captions, and allow rumors to spiral across the internet. And this is where things between Drake and Ross reportedly started to get strange. Fans noticed that the two artists slowly stopped interacting online. They stopped posting photos together. They stopped referencing each other's music. And when fans asked about their relationship, both artists gave vague answers that raised more questions than they solved. During one live stream, a fan asked Ross directly about Drake. Ross paused for a moment, smiled strangely, and simply said, "Everybody gotta play their role." That line alone triggered weeks of speculation online. But the moment that really started raising eyebrows came during an awards show after-party last year. According to several party attendees who later discussed the moment on social media, Drake and Ross were seen in the same VIP section, but reportedly avoided each other the entire night. One guest claimed Drake walked into the room, spotted Ross across the lounge, and immediately turned around and walked out. Another person claimed Ross noticed Drake leaving and laughed loudly in front of several other celebrities. Again, nothing officially confirmed. Just rumors. But the internet started connecting dots. And then things got worse. Earlier this year, Ross allegedly made another joke about Drake during a private industry gathering. At first it sounded harmless, but people in the room say the tone was different this time. And the comment reportedly referenced Drake's personal life, something insiders claim Drake is extremely sensitive about. One attendee who later spoke anonymously said, "When Ross said it, people laughed, but Drake didn't." That moment, according to several insiders, may have been the spark that lit the fire. Because what happened after that joke didn't just trigger another rap feud, it triggered something far more dangerous. Within hours of that private event ending, rumors started spreading across the internet that Drake had been calling people connected to Rick Ross late into the night. Several bloggers claimed Drake sounded furious, repeating the same phrase over and over according to one alleged witness. He crossed the line. But the most shocking part of the story didn't come from those phone calls. It came from what fans believe happened the next night. Because if the stories coming from inside the industry are true, Drake didn't just want to respond with music. He wanted revenge. And the moment that plan allegedly began unfolding, people close to both artists realized this feud might be spiraling into something nobody could control. By the time the sun came up the next morning, the tension between Drake and Rick Ross had already spread far beyond the walls of that private industry party. What had started as an awkward moment in a room full of celebrities was now turning into a full-blown crisis. And the craziest part? Most fans had absolutely no idea yet. Behind the scenes, Phones were ringing nonstop. Producers, managers, club owners, Vidi promoters, everyone connected to Drake or Ross was suddenly hearing whispers about what had happened the night before. Some people thought the situation would cool down after a few hours. After all, rap beefs happen all the time. Artists argue, people talk trash, and then a diss track appears a week later. But insiders claim this situation felt different almost immediately. One anonymous security staff member who allegedly works at several high-profile celebrity events later described the atmosphere like this. When Drake left that room, it didn't look like a rapper leaving a party. It looked like someone leaving a war zone. According to several people who claim they were present, Drake left the event without saying goodbye to anyone. No smiling, no joking, no polite industry handshakes. Just silence. Cold, heavy silence. Rick Ross, on the other hand, reportedly stayed behind and continued laughing with other guests. And that moment is what many insiders now believe made things even worse, because someone in the room pulled out their phone. And within minutes, a clip began circulating privately. The video itself was short, barely 10 seconds long. But according to people who saw it before it was allegedly deleted, it showed Rick Ross laughing loudly while repeating the joke that had upset Drake. In the background, several people could be heard reacting with nervous laughter. At first, the clip stayed inside private group chats. But by midnight, the video reportedly reached someone connected to Drake's camp. And that's when everything changed. According to a music blogger who claims to have spoken with someone inside Drake's circle, when Drake saw the clip and absolutely lost it. The blogger wrote in a now viral thread, "Drake didn't just feel embarrassed, he felt betrayed. He believed Ross was trying to publicly humiliate him." Whether that's true or not, what happened next is where the story begins to spiral into something far more serious. Around 2:30 in the morning, several people close to Rick Ross reportedly began receiving strange messages. At first, the text looked like typical heated arguments between two powerful artists. Words like disrespect, cross the line, and watch what happens next allegedly appeared in the messages. But according to one source who claims they saw screenshots, the tone of the conversation started getting darker as the night went on. One alleged message simply said, "You thought that was funny? Let's see who's laughing tomorrow." The screenshot quickly spread through a few industry group chats. Some people assumed it was fake. Others believed Drake was just venting after feeling embarrassed. But then something happened that turned the tension into pure panic. Around 3:15 a.m., Rick Ross reportedly left the after-party and headed back toward his hotel with several members of his team. Everything seemed normal. The night was winding down. The streets outside the venue were mostly empty. And then a black SUV allegedly began following Ross's convoy. At first, nobody thought much of it. Celebrities get followed all the time. Fans chase cars hoping to catch a glimpse. Paparazzi trail vehicles hoping for a photo. But according to one driver who later spoke anonymously to a gossip blog, this car wasn't acting like paparazzi. The SUV reportedly stayed behind Ross's car for nearly 15 minutes without trying to pass. Every time Ross's driver turned down a new street, the same vehicle followed. Eventually, Ross's security team noticed. One bodyguard allegedly called another car in their convoy and said something that has now become one of the most talked about details of this story. "Someone's tailing us." At first, Ross reportedly brushed it off, but the SUV didn't disappear. And that's when things started getting uncomfortable. Ross's convoy reportedly made several turns through downtown streets, attempting to shake the vehicle. But every time they changed direction, the black SUV remained behind them. Inside Ross's vehicle, people were beginning to ask questions. One person allegedly said, "You think that's Drake's people?" Nobody answered, because nobody wanted to believe things had gotten that serious. Eventually, Ross's driver pulled into a well-lit hotel entrance where security cameras were everywhere. The SUV slowed down as it approached the entrance, and then suddenly drove away. Just like that. Gone. For a moment, everyone inside Ross's car tried to laugh it off. Maybe it was coincidence, maybe it was just another random car. But less than 10 minutes later, Ross reportedly received a message. And this message is the part of the story that sent chills through everyone involved. because according to two different insiders who claim they saw the screenshot, the message simply read, "Next time, don't run." No name, no explanation. Just those 4 words. When Ross's team allegedly saw the message, the mood inside the hotel suite reportedly changed instantly. The laughter disappeared. Phones started ringing again. Security teams began reviewing camera footage. And within hours, rumors began spreading through the music industry that Drake and Rick Ross were no longer just exchanging insults. Something else had started. Something far more dangerous. But the twist that nobody expected was still coming. Because while fans online were just beginning to hear whispers about the feud, someone was already preparing to leak something that could blow the entire situation wide open. And once that footage hit the internet, the Drake versus Rick Ross drama would explode into a global scandal. By the next afternoon, the entire situation had reached a boiling point. But the public still had no idea what was really happening behind the scenes. Fans were going about their day, scrolling through music blogs and gossip pages, completely unaware that a storm was about to explode across the internet. Because somewhere online, someone had the footage, and they were about to leak it. It started with a mysterious post on an anonymous celebrity gossip account that had a reputation for dropping industry secrets before anyone else. The account posted a cryptic message that immediately caught attention. "Something crazy just happened between Drake and Rick Ross. Footage coming soon. This might end careers." Within minutes, the tweet began spreading like wildfire. Fans flooded the comments asking questions. Was it another diss track? A physical fight? A club altercation? Nobody knew. But the tone of the message suggested something far more serious. Then the account posted a blurry screenshot, and the image appeared to show 2 luxury vehicles stopped near a hotel entrance late at night. One of the cars looked like it matched the description of Rick Ross's convoy. The other vehicle, dark, tinted windows, black SUV, looked eerily similar to the car witnesses had described following Ross earlier that night. The caption under the image simply read, "Last night got real." And just like that, the internet exploded. Within an hour, hashtags related to Drake and Rick Ross began trending. Fans started digging through every rumor, every old interview, every possible clue that could explain what was happening. But the real chaos started when a short video clip appeared online. The video was shaky and clearly filmed from a distance, but the scene was unmistakable. It showed 2 vehicles stopped near what appeared to be a luxury hotel entrance. Several security guards were standing nearby, looking tense. And then the video captured something that made people online lose their minds. A voice in the background said, "That's Drake's car." Suddenly, the clip cut to a moment where one of the security guards rushed toward the black SUV, shouting something that was too distorted to understand. The camera shook wildly and someone filming whispered, "Yo, this is getting crazy." The video ended abruptly. No clear confrontation, no visible fight, just confusion, tension, and a sense that something had almost happened. But that was enough to send social media into absolute chaos. Within minutes, fans started creating theories. Some people believed Drake had sent people to intimidate Rick Ross after being mocked. Others believed Ross's team had staged the situation to make Drake look bad. And a third group thought the entire thing might be a misunderstanding that had spiraled out of control. But then came the second twist. A well-known hip-hop blogger suddenly posted a thread claiming they had spoken directly to someone inside Ross's team. According to that alleged insider, the situation was far more serious than fans realized. The blogger wrote, "Ross's people believed they were being followed intentionally. They thought someone was trying to scare them. Security started preparing for the worst." That post alone generated millions of views in just a few hours. Suddenly, major entertainment pages began covering the story, and headlines started appearing across music blogs with titles like, "Did Drake just cross a dangerous line with Rick Ross?" Industry sources claim, "Drake furious after Ross joke." Footage surfaces of suspicious vehicles outside Ross Hotel. But the biggest shock came when another celebrity unexpectedly joined the conversation. Late that evening, a well-known rapper, someone who had worked with both Drake and Rick Ross in the past, posted a mysterious tweet that instantly went viral. The tweet read, "Y'all better calm this situation down before someone gets hurt." The internet lost its mind. Fans immediately began speculating about what that message meant. Was the rapper confirming that the situation was real? Were artists inside the industry now trying to stop the feud from escalating further? And then things got even more dramatic, because another rumor started spreading that Drake himself had been calling several industry figures trying to shut down the footage leak. One insider claimed Drake's team was furious about the video spreading online and believed someone close to Ross had intentionally leaked it to make Drake look dangerous. Meanwhile, Ross's camp reportedly told a completely different story. According to a podcast host who claimed to speak with someone connected to Ross, Ross believed Drake's team had intentionally tried to intimidate him after the party incident. Two sides, two completely different stories, and fans had no idea which version was true. But while the internet argued over theories, something far more shocking was quietly unfolding behind the scenes. Because according to several industry insiders now speaking anonymously, the tension between Drake and Rick Ross wasn't cooling down. It was escalating. Phone calls between managers were becoming heated. Promoters were nervous about booking both artists at the same events. Security teams were being placed on high alert, and one insider made a chilling comment during a live stream that instantly spread across social media. He said, "This ain't just rap beef anymore. This is personal." But the biggest revelation of the entire story was still waiting to surface. Because while fans were debating the blurry footage online, someone else was preparing to leak something even bigger, something that could completely change the narrative about what really happened that night. And if that second leak turned out to be real, the Drake and Rick Ross feud was about to become the most explosive scandal the hip-hop world had seen in years. By the time the footage started circulating across every corner of the internet, the situation between Drake and Rick Ross had officially become the biggest conversation in hip-hop. What had started as whispers from a private party was now dominating timelines, trending across multiple platforms, and dividing fans in a way nobody expected. And once social media got involved, things went completely out of control. Within hours, the hashtag Drake vs. Ross began trending worldwide. Millions of fans rushed online to share their opinions, and the debates quickly turned chaotic. Some people believed Drake had every right to be furious after being mocked publicly, while others accused him of taking things way too far. One viral tweet read, "Ross been clowning Drake for years. If Drake finally snapped, I'm not surprised." Another fan responded with the opposite opinion. "If Drake really tried to intimidate Ross like that, that's not rap beef anymore. That's crossing the line." The debate exploded. Fan accounts started digging through old interviews, old lyrics, and old videos, trying to prove which artist had been disrespecting the other for longer. Clips of Rick Ross joking about Drake began resurfacing everywhere. At the same time, Drake fans posted compilations of Ross throwing subtle shade over the years. It felt like the internet had turned into a courtroom. Everyone had evidence. Everyone had theories. But things got even crazier when celebrities began reacting. And a popular hip-hop radio host posted a video discussing the situation and said something that immediately caught people's attention. "Look, rap beef is part of the culture, but what I'm hearing about this situation, that ain't normal rap drama." The clip went viral within minutes. Then a famous music producer jumped into the conversation during an Instagram live stream. Thousands of fans were watching when someone in the chat asked him about Drake and Rick Ross. He paused for a moment before answering. "I've worked with both of them," he said carefully. "And I'm telling y'all right now, when powerful artists start feeling disrespected, things can escalate fast." That single sentence fueled even more speculation. Soon, reaction videos began appearing across YouTube with dramatic titles like, "Drake finally snaps after Rick Ross mockery." Industry insiders speak on Drake versus Ross situation. Did Rick Ross push Drake too far? Meanwhile, entertainment news outlets started covering the story as well. Some articles tried to stay neutral, reporting that rumors were still unconfirmed. Others leaned into the drama, suggesting the feud might already be affecting upcoming music releases and collaborations. But the biggest shock came when fans noticed something strange happening online. Rick Ross posted a photo. The image showed Ross sitting calmly in a luxury car, wearing sunglasses and smiling confidently. On the surface, it looked like a normal celebrity post, but the caption was only 2 words: "Still laughing." That post instantly ignited the internet. Within minutes, fans began arguing about what the caption meant. Was Ross mocking Drake again? Was he trying to show that he wasn't afraid of the situation? Or was it simply a coincidence? Drake fans flooded the comments calling the post disrespectful. Ross supporters cheered him on, saying he refused to be intimidated. But the drama didn't stop there. Not long after Ross's post went viral, fans noticed something unusual on Drake's social media account. Drake had posted a cryptic Instagram story. No caption. Just a black background with one short line of text. "Respect is everything." That single sentence was enough to send the internet into another frenzy. Fans immediately started interpreting the message. Some believed Drake was warning Ross. Others believed he was simply expressing frustration about the situation. But one thing was certain. Neither artist appeared ready to back down. The divide between fans grew even stronger. Some people insisted the entire situation was being exaggerated by blogs and gossip pages. Others believed the tension between Drake and Ross was real and could explode again at any moment. And then another celebrity added fuel to the fire. Late that night, a well-known rapper who had previously collaborated with both artists posted a tweet that instantly went viral. The tweet said, "Y'all don't understand how serious this situation really is." He didn't explain what he meant. He didn't mention Drake or Ross by name, but fans immediately connected the dots. Suddenly, people began wondering if the industry knew more about the situation than the public did. Because if artists behind the scenes were already warning about things getting serious, then maybe the story wasn't just internet drama after all. Maybe something bigger was happening, but just when it seemed like the chaos couldn't grow any larger, another rumor started spreading online, and this one threatened to flip the entire story upside down. Because according to a new alleged leak, the mysterious black SUV that followed Ross that night might not have belonged to Drake's team at all. And if that revelation turned out to be true, then someone else might have been pulling the strings behind the scenes this entire time. Which meant the feud between Drake and Rick Ross might have been just the beginning of something far more complicated. And the final twist of this story was about to shock everyone. Just when fans thought they had the Drake versus Rick Ross situation figured out, the entire narrative suddenly flipped in a way nobody expected. For 2 full days, the internet had been locked in debate. Was Drake furious enough to intimidate Ross? Was Ross deliberately provoking him? Or had the entire situation spiraled out of control because of one reckless joke? But then a new rumor began spreading. And this one was different. Because this time, the leak didn't come from a gossip page. It came from someone claiming to have direct access to security footage from the hotel where Rick Ross's convoy stopped that night. At first, the post didn't get much attention. The account was small and relatively unknown, but the message was explosive. The user claimed they had seen footage from the hotel cameras showing the mysterious black SUV that followed Ross's convoy earlier that night. And according to their claim, the vehicle didn't belong to Drake. That revelation hit the internet like a lightning bolt. Within minutes, screenshots of the post began circulating everywhere. Fans immediately started asking the same question. If Drake's team wasn't behind the vehicle, then who was? The user went on to make an even stranger claim. According to them, the SUV had been parked outside the hotel nearly 40 minutes before Ross's convoy even arrived. The vehicle allegedly didn't appear to be following Ross intentionally at first. It simply happened to leave around the same time. If that information were true, it would completely change the narrative. Because the entire internet had spent the last 2 days believing Drake's team had tried to intimidate Ross. But if the SUV wasn't connected to Drake at all, then the tension between the two rappers might have been fueled by a massive misunderstanding. Suddenly, new theories started flooding social media. Some fans believed the situation had been blown out of proportion by gossip blogs looking for drama. Others believed someone inside the industry intentionally leaked the story to create chaos between Drake and Ross. But the wildest theory of all started gaining traction online. A few fans pointed out something strange about the original footage that had gone viral. In the video, someone in the background clearly said, "That's Drake's car." But nobody had actually confirmed it. The person filming had simply assumed the vehicle belonged to Drake. And that one assumption might have triggered an avalanche of rumors that spiraled into a global scandal. Still, not everyone was convinced, because another insider quickly stepped forward with a different story. During a late-night live stream, a well-connected music journalist claimed that the tension between Drake and Rick Ross was very real, even if the SUV incident had been misunderstood. According to the journalist, both artists had been extremely angry after the party incident. Phone calls between their teams had reportedly grown heated, and several promoters were already discussing how to keep the two artists separated at future events. Then the journalist dropped one final bombshell. He claimed that a diss track might already exist. According to his sources, one of the two artists had already recorded a response to the situation, but was waiting for the perfect moment to release it. That single rumor reignited the entire internet. Fans immediately began speculating about which artist was preparing to strike first. Drake had a long history of responding to drama through music, but Rick Ross was also known for his aggressive lyrical responses when he felt disrespected. The tension online became unbearable. Every tweet, every Instagram story, every cryptic caption posted by either artist was now being analyzed like a puzzle piece in a much bigger story. And then something extremely suspicious happened. Late that night, Rick Ross suddenly deleted his "still laughing" post. No explanation, no follow-up message. Just gone. Fans noticed immediately. The internet went silent for a moment, and then exploded again. Some people believed Ross had realized the situation had gone too far. Others believed someone from his team had forced him to remove the post to calm things down. But the timing raised serious questions, because only a few hours earlier, Drake had also quietly deleted his cryptic "respect is everything" story. Two artists, two posts, both gone, and no one explaining why. Suddenly, a new rumor started spreading across hip-hop forums. Some insiders claimed both camps were now trying to cool the situation down before it turned into something uncontrollable. Others believed the opposite, that the silence meant something big was coming. A diss track, a leaked recording, or maybe even another shocking confrontation. One thing was clear. The Drake and Rick Ross feud was far from over. In fact, many people inside the industry believe the real drama hasn't even started yet. Because if either artist decides to respond publicly, the entire hip-hop world could be pulled into the conflict. And the next chapter of the story could be even more explosive than anything fans have seen so far. Now here's the question everyone is asking. Do you think Drake actually planned to intimidate Rick Ross after being mocked? Or did the entire situation spiral out of control because of rumors and misunderstandings? Was Rick Ross pushing Drake too far with his jokes? Or was Drake simply refusing to tolerate public disrespect? And the biggest question of all, do you think a diss track is coming next? Because if either Drake or Rick Ross decides to respond through music, this feud could easily become one of the biggest rap battles of the decade. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Team Drake or Team Ross? And if you think the situation is far from over, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications, because the moment new footage, new leaks, or a diss track appears, we'll be breaking it down immediately. Something tells us this story isn't finished yet, not even close.